In this video, I'm going to share with you a visualization technique that's going to help you understand why it is that your manifestations are not coming to life. Now, a while back, I had a client that came to me and he had the problem. He wanted to become a public speaker, but he was not able to manifest this into his life. And he came to me asking me why it was not working. So I decided to do this particular visualization technique with him. Now, as I explain and as I tell you what happened during our session, you will quickly understand why he was not able to attract these things into your life. So I want you to pay very close attention, take some notes, and then after you can choose to do the exercise by yourself or with me. It's up to you. So let's get started. So the first thing I asked him to do is to bring to mind the stuck state that he had, right? He wanted to be a public speaker, but he felt stuck. And I asked him, all right, so close your eyes and bring to mind what it's like to be stuck. And this is what he told me. And I take my marker here. He said, well, it feels like I'm sitting on a chair. I'm going to try to draw here. So he was here, okay? And he had the chair that was there. Right, and he was sitting on the chair. And he said, it feels like my hands are bound together and my feet are bound together. And I have a gag in my mouth and I have a gag on my eyes. So he's blinded. He has a gag in his mouth. His hands are tied and his feet are tied. That's what it felt like. So think about it. He wants to be a public speaker, but he has a gag in his mouth. Is that going to happen? No. He literally feels like he's unable to speak. There's a gag in his mouth and he cannot see the way forward. So then the next thing I asked him is, all right, I know your eyes are blinded, but what do you see in the room? What's in front of you? And even though his eyes were bounded, he was able to tell me, well, there's a table in front of me. There's a table in front of me. Okay, there's a table in front of me. There's no one at the table. And it feels like I'm in this huge hangar. And on the right of me, right here, there's like a big wall. And on the left of me, there's a wall, but with windows. Okay, on top of him was just a ceiling. And in the back of him was like a door with some lights coming through. So it was a very, very bright light coming through the door. And he felt like in a big hangar. I know the drawing is not super pretty, but that's not the point. The point is just to have a visual representation of what it feels and looks like. So he has a bound on his eyes, gag in his mouth, his hands are bounded together, and his feet are bounded together. And I asked him, all right, so what can you do there? He's like, well, I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do. I can't do anything. I said, think about it. And we went through this exercise for a little while. And then he said, you know what? I can take myself and boom, throw myself on the floor, break my chair. I said, okay, do that. So he physically, bam, went on the floor and broke his chair. And it hurt. It actually hurt him in real life. And that's when he realized his hands were bounded in front of him, not bounded to the chair. He could have simply taken the gag out and taking the blindfold out of by himself. So the chair acted as a support system that he broke in order to free himself, even though he didn't have to break his support system. Now, if you relate that to his desire to be a public speaker, he feels like he needs to break his support systems in order to break free of his limitations. He was unable to go forward because he was bounded by at the feet, unable to move, unable to see, unable to speak. But all of this was created by himself because he could have easily moved by himself. Right? When he actually took the bound out of his mouth, All he did was this, take it out. Then he could have taken his teeth, taken the bound out of his hands, taking it out of his eyes, and untied himself. Could have done all of that without breaking his support system. So then he had the choice, either do what's right of him, which is a wall, a metaphorical wall, so he cannot go there, but that's what's right for him. Or he can go what's left. What's left for him is still a wall with some windows, some light, some hope coming forward. Back of him is a beautiful light, but nobody likes to go back. And in front of him was just a table. And for some reason, he wanted to go to the table. Even though there was nothing around him, he felt compelled to go to the table. Now, we'll understand why he felt compelled as a public speaker to go to the table in a few moments. So he went to the table. He went right up to the table right there, right? I asked him to walk up to the table in real life. And he walked up to the table. And I said, okay, what do you do on the table now? He said, well, I cannot go forward. There's a table there. I said, okay. Say, okay, let me try to go left. So he went to the left. And as he went to the left, he saw a pit of snakes. Dangerous stuff. Could not go there. So it's like, okay, can't go there. Let me go to do what's right for me. He went what's right, and it was also a pit of snake. What can I do? So what he decided to do, he decided to go stand up on the table. So he stood up on the table. And as he stood up on the table, he saw this beautiful green lush garden like appearing in front of him, going outside, like the door of the hangar opened up, the walls of the hangar opened up, and it was a beautiful garden in front of him. But right below the table was like quicksands and snakes and water and dangerous things. So what did he do? The table represents status. So he went up to elevate his status as a public speaker. So going up to elevate himself as a public speaker. Look at me, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. And then there's nothing he can do. He cannot go left, he cannot go right, he cannot go forward, because there's dangers everywhere. So what does he do? He just stands there looking pretty, saying, look at me, look at me, look at me, not going forward. That is the true limitation that he had. He wanted that status symbol, right? He was bound by his own doing, gagged by his own doing, unable to see by his own doing, and obsessed by the status symbol of going up above, look at me, look at me. But when you go, look at me, I'm a public speaker, he cannot get any gigs because he doesn't know how to go forward. There's danger left, right, and center. So he's like, my God, I cannot do anything. I'm stuck on this table. What can I do? So he went through this, what can I do, what can I do? And then I pushed him in a direction. I said, what happened if you stood out of, like, stood down of the table? But I don't want to do that. Try for a second. He did not want to do it because it was a loss of elevated status. And he didn't understand that at that point. But it just didn't feel right for him. So he said, okay, I'm going to step down. And he stepped down. And I said, what happens when you step down? Well, he didn't see the lush green garden in front of him anymore. It was back to the gray wall. So I said, what happens if you take that table, put it upside down, and push it forward? He didn't want to do that also, because taking that table, putting it upside down, that was reducing his potential for status, which is what he wanted. But he listened to me and he did it anyway. And he said, put it upside down. And he put it on the floor. And as he put it on the floor, the garden appeared in front of him again with the quicksands and everything. So he used the table as like a lifeboat to go over the quicksand and the water and the snake, so it was not hurt, to go to the promised land right in front of him. And so that explains so well why he was unable to manifest the things he wanted in his life, i.e., becoming a public speaker. He was limiting his own speech, he was limiting his own movement and his own independence with his bounds on his legs and hands. He felt like he had to break his support system, which he did not have to in order to move forward. All these limitations were self imposed. And the only way he thought to achieve his dreams was to elevate his status. But once his status was elevated, there was nowhere to go. In fact, when he was sitting on the chair, all he saw at the back was a gray wall. But he knew he had to go to the table. For him, that status was more important, even though there was nothing in front of him. When he got on the table, wow, there's status there. I like it. I see the potential in front of me. But status without being able to go forward means nothing. Once he understood this, his subconscious started to integrate. And within 3 days, he started to be able to book his gigs. Once you understand where you are, because everybody starts at a different place, right? You may tell your friends, oh, it's easy to manifest, you just have to do this. It's easy to manifest, you just have to do that. But everybody starts at a different place. He started on a bound of his own doing, on limitations of his own doing, with the idea of status. And he was not able to go forward. But once he understood it, once he integrated, he was able to move forward. So I hope this makes sense. I hope you can do this exercise and you may be able to get some insight as to why is it that you're having difficulty manifesting your dream life, your dream outcome. Why, like how it feels to be stuck. If you want some help understanding this, you can always contact me. My information is going to be down below. I'm also going to have a fantastic PDF down below that's called the Reality Creation Matrix that teaches you how your reality gets created. So you can also go ahead and download this down below. I hope you liked this video. I hope it was useful, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, and bye for now.